Alright, welcome back to another episode of Comanche Productions. We're here doing the Speakin Spring podcast series with special guest Evan Williams, good friend of mine. Will's not here, as you can see clearly. He is not here. He is actually in the upstate right now doing some turkey scouting for us, so he won't be in this episode, but we're just going to kind of go through some more stories that we have and talk about some different things. Me and Evan have been hunting together now for really since we were little kids, but you know, more since we were about 12, 13 years old, and we got several stories for you, and we'll kind of go through each one of them, kind of talk about how we got into hunting together, and talk about some different things. But first, we want to address some of this behind us. No, this is none of ours, unfortunately, as nice as they are. There's several more that way and over here, but if there's any way I can show you all these, I will. But I think somebody just fell. But yeah, so he's a pretty cool deer. His dad was actually able to kill these. Probably one of the greatest deer and turkey hunters to ever walk on this planet. And then that right there, as you can see, well, you probably can't see that, but that's actually a 7-bearded turkey that his dad was lucky enough to kill. And of course, some of these deer he killed with a bow, as you can tell by the arrows. But there's a lot of good memories in here, I'm sure, that maybe one day we can get to hear. We don't know the full story on a lot of these. I do know that, is it that one? I don't think y'all can see it, but that one was actually taken from him. His dad got let slide and took the gun from him and killed that one. But that's kind of the story behind. We wanted to film the podcast in here because of the stuff that's behind us, and thought it was a pretty cool backdrop. But that's kind of that. Trying to think, is there anything else we need to talk about at the beginning? I think that's pretty much it. We'll get into some stories and just kind of let it go from there. Me and him's got several turkey hunt stories. We got several deer and duck hunt stories. We'll keep them for another time. Yeah, he's hunted with me for a long time. I'm gonna kind of shut up and let him talk a little bit here in a minute. I'm going on a rampage here, but yeah, we started hunting together. I don't know, 2019, 2018.
Right before COVID.
COVID, yeah.
We really started hunting together.
Yeah, and we started out in duck hunting together. We both love duck hunting. Trying to think, it was the night after Christmas, right? That we hunted the duck hunting the first time.
Together, yeah.
It's kind of random. I texted him and asked him if he had anywhere to go when we were actually distant cousins, and I just texted him and said, "Hey, you got anywhere we can go?" And he didn't. I did. So he came with me and we went hunting that morning. I don't think we even seen a duck, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think we seen a Tweety bird, but that kind of started our friendship.
Had a very good time there.
Yeah, we I talked about it in the first episode. If you want to go back and watch that one, or maybe it was the intro video. I just talked about how through hunting, me and Will's been able to build friendship, and this is a perfect example. We really never really talked or were friends up until we started hunting together. We realized how much we both love hunting, and that led to to a good friendship, and certainly pretty cool. And we kind of go back through time and think about some duck hunts we've had. We're actually, you've probably already seen this video. We're actually going in the morning. It's a youth day hunt that me and him both got invited to. I'm gonna be behind the camera because I'm too old to hunt, unfortunately. But you'll get to see him shooting in the morning, and like I said, you've probably already seen that video by now. So hopefully it turned out pretty good. But yeah, kind of move into turkey hunting. Out of duck hunting, turkey hunting, and deer hunting. Probably the most we've done is duck hunting, and then probably second would be turkeys. So we got a couple good stories we can share. We're gonna get to, and hopefully we don't miss anything, because like I said, we've got a couple good ones we can tell y'all. We'll start off with the hog story, but let me introduce how this story lays out. It actually ties into duck hunting, and then I'm gonna stop yapping and let him talk about it. So this actually starts in January of 2021. It was the year after COVID had happened. Of course, it was still kind of going on then, but me and him were duck hunting one morning, and this big swamp. It was real flooded in there and everything. It was actually on the Salkatchie River, which of course is how we kind of tied our name in or whatever. But we were duck hunting in there, and it was just kind of one of those crisp mornings, and we heard some turkeys, some hens actually. I don't remember if we heard a turkey or not. If y'all can hear the dog whining, sorry, he's trying to get in here with us. But I don't remember if we heard any turkeys gobble that morning. Maybe one or two.
The one in the hog?
No, this the duck hunt.
Yeah, well, that's what made us want to turkey.
Yeah, that's what I
kept hearing. Yeah, the same bird.
Yeah, we kept hearing hen, and there was a group of them, not far from us. So, going time turkey season, I had that in the back of my mind, and I went in there before me and him went in there. I went in there one morning by myself. I was about 15, 16 then. I went in there, and I had to wear waders to even get back there. It was so wet. I mean, I was walking through chest deep water. I even went over my waders one time, and I ended up getting to a spot, took my waders off, and I had some boots in my bag I put on. And I remember I could hear these turkeys gobbling right where they were that morning. We were duck hunting where we heard them, and I eased up through this river swamp and got set up, and everything was going perfect. These turkeys were hammering in the tree. There was 4 or 5 of them gobbling, and I'll never forget, they all really got quiet for probably 10-15 minutes, and I started getting worried. At the time I didn't know as much as I do now about turkey hunting, and I just kind of assumed they seen me, because at that point I was pretty close to them when they were in a tree. This is about mid-April, so everything's kind of greened up by now. But I remember, so I keep losing my thought. I remember I was sitting and they got quiet for 10 to 15 minutes, and this wood duck flew right over me. And when he did his little screaming noise coming through the woods, turkey hammered, and I'm talking about right on top of me. At that point I had tree yelled, and that was it. I didn't know how these birds were gonna act. I've never hunted them before. But this wood duck flies by and these turkeys gobble, and they're right here, close, but to my right. So I start looking, obviously I'm not moving my head, but I'm looking at the corner of my eye, and I see these turkeys come walking up through here. I think a couple of them are strutting.
Continue.
Well, I kept kind of softly calling, and
here. Come on. Back to the stone.
We kept calling, or I kept calling to these turkeys, and it kind of got hung up for a minute, and I was kind of confused why, and I'll tell you about why that happened in a minute. But it got to the point where I felt like they weren't seeing something right, and I feel like I had to kind of make a move on them. So I turned to my right kind of slowly, and they seen me, and when I tell you, they just all flew. That was it. I so confused why these turkeys didn't come any closer to me. Turns out the river was right between me and these turkeys. I never hunted here before, so I didn't know. And of course, if you don't know what the Salkatchie River looks like, it's pretty wide, especially when it floods. When it floods, there's water everywhere. It's just a giant river swamp system, and these turkeys were right on the other side of that river, and it just didn't work out for me. And this is where he ties into the story. We went in there maybe a week later. I knew these turkeys were still going to be there. They may be acting a little funny, but we walked in there, and you remember there was turkeys gobbling.
This was near the last day of the season.
Yeah, it was
Might have been the last day of the season.
We went in there another time the last day of the season, in the afternoon after school one day.
That's what it was.
But like a week before that, so it was about the week before the season ended, something like that. That weekend, we went in there and there was turkeys gobbling from here to there. Like they were all over the place, and they were very spread out. So apparently, from whatever spooking these turkeys I had spooking or whatever, they had completely dispersed. And you remember, we were hearing turkey here. We didn't know what turkey to even pick and go after. There were so many turkeys gobbling. So I think we kind of just mutually decided we'd sit down on this flower bed, you know, kind of facing away from the river. That way, if a bird would come around us, we didn't have to worry about water. I actually have that picture on the first podcast series. The picture, just the cover photo for that is that picture I took then that morning. Very, very, very pretty spot. What are those dandelions? Those yellow
Wildflowers of some
just
sort.
beautiful place for a turkey to come in and boy, when I tell you the exact opposite thing what we thought was happening happened. I mean, it was.
We thought we had an old turkey coming in for sure.
We were calling, you know, every 10, 15 minutes. At this point, it's probably what 8:30, 9 o'clock. Kind of getting late morning.
Somewhere up in there.
Well, early morning, I guess you would say.
Well, we, like he said, we sitting there just calling, and what, 20 minutes later?
We heard something.
We heard something.
We heard
coming
something
through,
coming.
And I was thinking, you know, turkey.
Silent
coming
turkey.
through. That's
Silent
exactly
turkey.
what we're thinking. And mind you, Charlie, I'm sitting in this spot.
Yeah, we're about
and
5
Charlie,
yards apart.
We was a little further than that, because Charlie, he was kind of this way from me, and we were shooting this way. But I started sort of seeing things behind him, and I was like, well, that's a turkey. It must be still. And it got to trotting, and I said, well, that's not no turkey. It ended up being about 150 to 200 pound hog, was maybe 10 feet from the back of Charlie.
Yeah, I remember hearing, of course, the whole time I'm like, don't move, there's a turkey coming. And I remember hearing Evan very quietly say, that's a pig, or that's a hog, or something to that effect. And
stood up. I mean, you did what you would do when you normally see a hog in our area. You shoot, and I shot, and I, of course, was shooting turkey load at a 150, 200 pound hog. Ain't gonna do much to him, but maybe it hurt him a little bit.
especially that close. I mean, he was.
And I mean, at the time, I'm also sitting in the woods expecting a turkey, and I'm seeing a 150, 200 pound hog,
scary.
5 yards from me, 10 feet from him. So it's like.
So once this pig clears, he shot it in 3 times. At that point, I was kind of confused, but I remember looking up and seeing this pig. I mean, hightailing away, and I was like, I mean,
This ain't no small pig we talking about either.
yeah, I mean, this was a giant boar. You know, one of the ones that you always hear stories of. If you hear a pig or see a pig coming towards you, climb a tree, because
They will mess you up.
I mean,
100%.
so we were both kind of like, you know, wow, you know, how did that even just happen? And didn't take us long to get up out of there that morning. We got up out of there.
I've been back to the whole since.
Well, that last after school, we went in there one afternoon. This is another funny story. We went in there, didn't hear a turkey gobble, didn't hear a hen, didn't hear nothing. So we go, you know, saying, all right, well, this is it for the year. You know, we gonna hang it up. I decide it'd be a smart idea to climb a vine over the river. Boy, was that a mistake. I was gonna climb this vine to get a picture and hang off of it. Well, I got about halfway up that vine and was holding on to it, and I turned around to look, take a picture, and that vine came down, and I came down with it, and I went right in the water. And it's, you know, it's April 30th, so the water ain't warm. And
Luckily, it was a little slough off of the river, not the fast current river that we were hunting by.
Mm-hmm. And I fell right into it on my back. Everything I had in my turkey vest was soaking wet. And, you know, certainly was not a fun experience walking out there, because we were not, you know, right on the road. We were way up in there. We was way up in there trying to find a turkey, and boy, it was rough getting up out of there. I remember I got to the car, and I was pulling my boots out, and about stripped down naked, getting in the car. I was so wet and soaking wet, and I mean it was rough. But that's kind of the first and only time I think I've ever fell in the water turkey hunting, to my knowledge
Ain't
anyway.
the first time you fell in the water today.
No. I fell in the water several times, including this past year duck hunting. I fell out the boat duck hunting. Well, I was trying to get out of the boat. I had just killed a duck, went and picked it up, and I was trying to get out of the boat, and I slipped, and I was holding on for dear life in this much water. Like I was dying. I was steady.
Turn around, and buddy's got 1 foot up on the boat, and 1 hand on the tree, and
I was hollering,
screaming help.
And
didn't realize he was on the edge.
I ended up about that deep in mud with my hands down in the mud, and that was about it. I mean, of course, it was cold, and certainly was not a fun boat ride back to the land. I can tell you that much, because it started raining a little bit when we got back. But
trips like that, though, to just make it memorable.
Oh yeah,
more fun.
Those kind of memories are the ones that we like sharing. And
it's all about going out there and killing.
Yeah, that's right.
We don't do this for the kill. We do this for just, you want to get out here, have a good time. It's peace. I mean,
the memories that you make turkey
the
hunting,
memories are amazing,
and hunting in general are just incredible. And we got a story from last year we'll get to. Last year, as my brother talked about in the first episode, losing my granddad, and at that point in time, me and Evan weren't as connected because I had moved schools and doing my own thing. But that kind of brought us back together, losing my granddad, because him and my granddad were also super close, and that kind of brought us back together. And it happened in the middle of turkey season, so we wanted to get together and hunt. So we came out here to Evan's property.
Wanted the impossible, bird.
And we got out here, and there was a turkey gobbling across the cutover, but nowhere close we could have killed him. I mean, barely in earshot range, And I don't even know where this turkey came from. We just started walking down the dirt road, and Evan, you heard him. You heard him before I did. You heard the turkey gobble, and I never heard the turkey, but we got a little closer, and I finally heard him. And at that point, he was close. I mean, he was 250 yards. So he eased up this power line, called. He slowly came this way, but he wasn't breaking off of whatever he was. I guess he was with a hen or something. Had to have been. But we eased up and got in this field. He came right to the edge of it, but wouldn't pop out, and was just gobbling his head off. And he ended up making a big loop around us, and we never got back on that bird that day or that year. That was the only time we were able to hunt together last year. I think we've got to have some more turkey hunting stories.
Oh yeah.
We've talked about this stuff so much together, it's hard to kind of go back and remember a lot of these things. We can talk about, I remember during COVID, when COVID happened, we were all, this was kind of the early parts of COVID, like March, remember, we all started going to quarantine in March, had to get out of school and everything. At that point, we were all kind of freaked out about it. We didn't know what was going on. We kind of all kept to ourselves, and that was right in the middle of turkey season. I remember he sent me a video, not even 200 yards down that. There's a power line right here in front of his house. There was, 5 or 6?
Just about, maybe, probably more than that. I think there was a big group.
Just a long beard, just
bowed up,
full strut in that thing. Sent me a video of it, and there was nothing I could do about it. Because there was no way my mom or my dad was going to let me come to his house. There was no way his mom or dad were going to let me come over here anyway, because of everything going on. It was a painful thing, to be completely honest with you, to see that and know that I could. Because, 2020, it was a hard year for all of us. We didn't, I hunted that first weekend, or that youth season. I don't think I hunted the rest of the year, to be completely honest with you. Just because of everything happening. Of course that made me go about nuts, but, at the age that we were at in middle school, and, the unknown that we were kind of all facing, we didn't know what was going on. Looking back now, 2 years later, it really wouldn't have mattered what we would have done, really, but of course it's impossible to know the future at that point in time. Probably could have gone on some of those birds and killed one, but kind of just the way the cookie crumbles. We got plenty of fishing stories. So whenever fishing time comes around, we got some good ones, some legal ones, some illegal ones. We was young kids. We didn't really.
We knew without knowing.
Yeah.
We knew it was wrong, but didn't know what the consequences were.
We was not smart enough not to do it, I guess. You know, looking back now, some of the things we did were very dumb, and hopefully you can learn from that.
Some of them fishing stories, even though they were illegally doing, I don't think
No, I wouldn't trade them. No, I wouldn't trade them for the world because of the memories we had, including some of pretty much every fishing story we had was with my granddad, because at that time, you know, 2 or 3 years ago, we didn't have a driver's license, we didn't have a way to go, and both of our granddads took us everywhere. If we went somewhere, they was with us.
It wasn't no, please take us. No. You take us, they jumped up, grabbed the keys, and they were ready.
Yep.
No matter what they had on, I'd say our granddads played the biggest roles in our lives. 100%.
Yeah, for sure. You know,
his granddad played a major role in my life as well. I mean, at the time I was, you know, hanging out with the wrong crowd when me and Charlie split off there for a minute, and it got to where, I mean, Charlie knew it was wrong, and he explained to his granddaddy, and his granddaddy talked to him, and that made a major difference on how I acted.
Okay.
And
but yeah, I mean, that's thanks to fishing and hunting. That's the kind of things that's happened, you know. And you know, I remember funny thing, 5-6 years ago, I was really into bass fishing. Before we became friends, I was really into bass fishing. I watched a lot of bass fishing on YouTube, but never really had anywhere to go. You know, there's not really a lot of lakes and stuff around here that you can easily go bass fish and just wear them out like you see on people's channels in Texas and Florida and so on. And I just really wanted to go, and you know, thanks to him, I was able to go fishing on a pond that had a lot of bass in it. Not big bass, but
it's at the same place we'll be going.
Same place we're going duck hunting in the morning, as a matter of fact. Not the same pond, obviously, because of the depth of the water, but the same place. And you know, that opened the doors for many other fishing trips, and you know.
Yet again, another moment where your granddad played and took us.
Same with your granddad did the same. You know, it's how we were as kids. You know, me and Evan, we went outside when we woke up in the morning, 9-10 o'clock in the morning throughout the summer. We was outside until the sun went down. Sometimes we was outside after the sun went down. But we was doing survival videos in the backyard and scouting ducks in June. I mean, fishing. Didn't matter. We was doing something at every point. And that's what, you know, that's what sparked our love for the outdoors and wanting to be out turkey hunting, duck hunting, deer hunting, all these different things. And you know, probably the funniest thing that's ever happened in my entire life was with him deer hunting one time. And we'll get into that closer to deer season when we do a podcast about deer hunting. Boy, it was something. And, you know, we actually got video of it. So, you know, hopefully I can share that at some point. But, you know, just reiterating the fact that, you know, these things cannot be taken for granted. You know, these memories, these things that, you know, we're lucky enough to sit down here and talk about it and share it with y'all, because, you know, we've told each other these stories so many times, told other people so many times. We just enjoy sitting down and talking to other people about it. It's kind of why we do this podcast, you know, not only to educate people, but just to talk about stuff. Because we you know, we grew up watching these people talk about stuff, and you know, we just listened to a Spring Legion podcast a couple hours ago. You know, he's listened to 3 or 4 of them this week. You know, it's just fun to talk to and listen to, because this is really the only way that turkey hunters especially can kind of, you know, intermingle with each other. And you know, obviously turkey hunting is kind of its own unique thing, and you don't get to talk to a lot of turkey hunters about stuff. So you know, this is something we'd like to do, and sharing stories is certainly fun to share with other people. I know that, and I can speak for him and say the same thing. So.
Oh yeah. The hunt is amazing, that you will enjoy, but that story is something you get to tell it over and over again. Even if it don't always come out in a kill, just explaining something funny that happened, or
Yeah, we've never even killed a turkey together.
Never killed a turkey together.
I don't think we've ever seen a turkey.
We've seen a hen. Yeah,
Like I'm saying, like a goblin turkey, we've had opportunity to shoot. I don't think we've ever had one come within range of us. We've been on several turkeys, but that just goes to show you how hard it is. You know, we've hunted 5-6 years together. Never had that.
Mainly deer hunt and duck hunt together, to be honest.
Yeah. You know, this is kind of our first year sitting down, knowing that okay, this spring, you know, I probably have already said this on some other podcasts you may have seen or may have not, but I only have one class for school, and I have to go in at 9:30, which means I get about 2 or 3 hours to hunt every morning. So I will be hunting every single day. So whenever he's ready to go, we're going, and it's gonna be a never-ending thing, whether it's with Will or you know any of our other friends or with Evan or whatever. We going every opportunity we can. We've all made a pledge and a promise to do that, because when it's over, it's over. Turkey season lasts very short compared to other seasons, and you know once you're done, you're done. You got to have that whole. You know, we're filming this in February, and you know we're itching bad. I mean, it's getting to the point where you know almost rocking in a corner, wanting to get at it. You go walk outside and you hear birds chirping, and you're like, okay, yeah. Well, I mean, we can't take much more of this. So you know, it's getting to that point, and we know that. Once it's over, you know, it's over for another year. We gotta wait a whole another year. So, I'm kind of just we're just rambling at this point. I'm trying to get some other turkey hunting stories. I just don't.
I mean, we have stories that ain't only together. I mean, I have a few.
Yeah, sure. Tell your story of.
You want to hit the deer story in there?
We'll get down to that time.
We'll put down deer.
In the deer. Yeah, but I want to get to one of you shooting a turkey in the leg.
The wing.
And the wing, and your daddy ended up. Well, no. Did y'all end up killing turkey?
I didn't end up killing it. He ended up killing it because it was very alive. But
it's only one behind you back here.
We'll start on that story. I did end up killing a bird there finally, thank God. But start off, I still hadn't killed a turkey yet. I couldn't have been no more than 13, 14 years old. And this field that we keep referring to has always been a really good field for, you know, the turkeys like to feed in the middle of the day. And well, one morning, Daddy woke me up and he said, let's go get you on your first bird. These birds every single mid-morning, they're here at this field. So we went there. We ended up waking up and getting out a little too late. And he somehow said these birds weren't gobbling. This is what makes him such a great hunter. These birds weren't making noise, but he knew exactly where they were at this time. And we had to full on sprint. And I'm telling you, by the time we sat down, I seen fans. They were full strut. Not only full strut, but running dead at us. We didn't have time to put the decoy out. I'm sitting at the back of this field. They're running from the front of the field straight at us. And at the time, I never shot a turkey. I didn't get a rundown on what to do. So I, you know, put the gun up and I was ready. And, you know, I'm sitting there asking him, which bird? And it took him I'm say a minute or two as these birds are sitting there strutting all in front of us to tell me which one to shoot. And I finally, you know, figured out which one to shoot. And I thought I killed the bird because when I shot, I hit it dead in the wing and it dropped, but it started flopping and it got back up and started running. But, you know, I was so excited thinking I killed it. I remember throwing the gun back to him, telling him, you know, let's double up. And he screamed, what the F are you doing? And, you know, my daddy's not one of them people you want to hear with a dirty mouth. So, yeah, at the time it shot me. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I turned around and my bird's wing halfway up in the air, hobbling away. And he threw up the gun and shot him. And I didn't claim it for my bird because now I made a bad shot. And never would have found that bird if you wouldn't have killed it. But that was the funniest hunt I think I've ever been on.
Well, it's similar to the story that I shared on the first podcast episode. You know, having to take a picture of a turkey I just missed. You know, I'm sure it's a bad feeling.
It's awful.
Missing a turkey is one feeling, which we both know. It's an awful feeling.
I've had the gun taken on me on multiple animals.
It is an awful feeling to miss a turkey.
So I'd love to share that double beard story.
Yeah, well, it's one thing to miss a turkey, but to miss a turkey and then have to watch and take the picture of the turkey that you missed. It's funny.
killed that.
There's not a lot of people that's had this happen, but we're both the ones that's experienced that, and it is awful. Missing a turkey is nothing compared to taking a picture of the turkey you just missed. You know, it's kind of a bittersweet thing because you're happy that the turkey's dead. You're happy that your friend, whoever, your dad, whoever killed the turkey, but at the same time, you're like, man, you know, I just screwed that opportunity up, and it sticks with you. You know, like I said, I hadn't forgot that.
It was so sad then because neither one of us had also ever killed a bird, and I was like, what we were.
No.
At that time, yeah, we loved hunting and everything, but our main focus was to kill at that one point. But now, I mean,
yeah, I was about the same age, 13, when I killed mine. So at that point, we've been hunting a long time. I'm speaking for you as well. We turkey hunted a long time before we ever even had a turkey in front of us. So.
Hunted since I can remember.
But yeah, go ahead and tell that double beard story. In the same place.
No.
We're going in the morning.
Oh yeah, same place.
Same place. Going duck hunting in the morning.
So this place I'm talking about, and I'm praying and everything that y'all get to see videos of us hunting this year.
We're working on it. We're working.
I'm not going to tell you where we're going in the morning because it's going to be in the video. We'll explain more in depth of where we're going. But this place is beautiful and amazing. It's a hunter's dream. But get to the story. We get to where we're going that morning. I tell you, it's where my uncle works, or what do you say, works or manages?
It's a plantation.
It is a plantation.
With several, it's got several duck impoundments, several, I don't know, probably 30, 40 deer stands, and some great turkey hunting. And
amazing.
To cut you off for a minute, I hadn't heard this one in a long time, so I am going to listen to this one. Pretty good.
So we're, still yet have not killed my first bird. And
cut you off again. Sorry. Is this after?
No, this is before.
This
is
before
okay. the old wing shot.
Because I wasn't sure, like I said, I hadn't heard this one in a minute, and I forgot.
We let's see, when was this had to be right in the middle of the season, and I got a call from Uncle, that night. Hey, you and your daddy, y'all come down in the morning. We'll see if you can get you a bird. So. We get out there, and I didn't know exactly what they were doing. I mean, yeah, I've been with my dad multiple times watching him kill birds, but I still haven't got the hang of what I'm doing. But, they're hitting, at the time I didn't know what they were, but they were locator calls, and they told me, they said, this is a grown bird. I'm just going to let you know that. They said, you're going to want this one. So we get to where they know the turkeys like to walk through, and where they mainly go to feed through the middle of the day, because this was just about in the middle of the day. We're sitting there, and this turkey does what we thought that hog was doing. Does the old creep, what do we call it? This walks over there silently, no words, no silent walk. And I've never heard a turkey spit or drum at the time, and I can just remember hearing that, that drum, that loud thud. That's all you hear, and I started shaking. They put it in terms that I looked like a rattlesnake was going on there, so you could hear the leaves shaking under me. And at the time I was shooting a little 20 gauge, and I was attempting to get it up, but the limb in front of me kept getting stuck, so I was sitting there getting stuck on it, and I reckon my dad had already seen what this bird looked like. That's the only thing I could explain. The story.
We had a little interruption.
A little interruption. I think I left off right there where I was shaking like a rattlesnake, and I guess my dad had seen.
He had seen the turkey.
He had seen this turkey. Me, on the other hand, I haven't seen it yet. And he grabbed a gun. He said, I was figuring, like I said, he's going to situate it for me and have me ready. And my uncle's sitting there thinking the same thing, because my uncle's probably 10 yards behind us calling for me. And my dad grabs the gun, and he puts it on his shoulder, and I'm sitting there looking like this, and I hear boom. At the time you're young, it's like there's a bird killed, so I was happy at that point. But when I got there, and I'm telling you, this was a double-bearded turkey. I'm not talking about a beard and then a little strand. I'm talking about two ropes.
I seen the picture.
Ropes coming out this turkey. One was about 10, one was a little over 10. And he was sitting there all happy. And, my uncle's one of those people, he doesn't necessarily hunt as much. He just loves to watch people hunt. And my uncle's disappointed, and I'm a little disappointed. It's like, man, that is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, or, I'm probably never going to do this again. They just got the opportunity taken from me, which, I won't hate my dad for that, be mad at him about it. He's a hunter,
he
got the itch.
For sure.
That's one of his favorites, his turkey hunting. Deer, as you can tell, is definitely his favorite, but That bird was pretty nice, and it had some spurs on it too.
Just to reiterate, his dad with the turkeys, being a turkey hunter, his dad, just a small collection of the turkeys he's been able to kill throughout his life. He's got a shoebox, about a size 12 shoebox, about that big, filled. I mean, to the brim with beards. I've never in my life, and that's not even half the turkeys he's killed.
Not even half.
So,
I'm in here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 deer in here. Not even a 10% of the big deer he's killed.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it in the intro. Me and Will learned a lot from people we've hunted with. This is certainly an example. The reason why I wanted to put these in here. Obviously, we have nothing to brag about with these deer, but just to show y'all, how lucky people can be and how skillful people are to kill deer like these. I mean, the biggest deer in here you can't even see, but his horns are that thick.
Just continue. Just dog.
Yeah, that deer's horns are that thick,
Just to add on, these deer aren't deer that you see on YouTube videos where he gets lucky. These are deer he's had on camera from years before.
Doing that homework. That's how
I'm telling you, he works for his deer.
And he bow hunts. He don't hunt for bait. He hunts trails. He hunts scrapes, rubs. Just
every year he's hunting hard. He didn't actually surprisingly kill a deer this year, but I'm telling you, every year he.
What's the most recent one in here?
This one would be the most recent one.
That one?
Well, actually, these two deer were killed a week apart.
Which one?
These two deer were killed a week apart.
This one and this one?
He mounted this deer due to the scarring on his face and just the cool textures on his horns and stuff like he's never seen before. And this deer, I guess he loved the way it looked. And also, it's his first buck he's killed with the double, what's that, a throat patch? A double white throat patch on it, and it ended up being obviously a monster
good deer. But going back to the turkey, I just thought about this. As a young kid, to say the least, Evan was an exaggerator. I was once told his dad killed a 5-pound squirrel, which is a monster squirrel. Got my buddy up here with me now. He told me about the 5-pound squirrel. I think I've already said that. Kind of had to keep editing this, but he also told me his dad killed a deer. Just to kind of put about that big, and there is not a deer in this world that big. But he's an exaggerator. So when he told me about his dad killing a 7-beard turkey, I said, "You're crazy. You out of your mind? There ain't no way. 7-beard turkey. That's super rare, obviously." But there it is. I counted the beards every time I come over here. I look at that thing in amazement. And I count them beards every time I come in his house. And he's 7-bearded. He is. He's 7. And it ain't like split beard here, split beard. No, it's 7 strands of beard. You can kind of tell just by looking at it. His beard starts way up here. Most turkeys' beards.
First 100, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there, and then right up under here would be the other 2. I ain't gonna pull on it too much.
Most beards on turkeys start lower in their chest than his. You can see those first 2 or 3, start up there at the top. But,
I wish
pretty
without
cool stuff
messing up his.
There's 40, 50 spurs right here on the necklace,
and some which are
pure white ivory. And we talked about this before. Very rare, to say the least. Yeah, and hook daddies. Like I said, man, we're not bragging about it. We're just truly blessed, to be around stuff like this and be raised up in this environment. Myself and him are super blessed to be around this. All these deer in here are unique. You got a really wide deer, a lot of mass, a lot of height, small brow tines, crab claw, G2s. I mean, just so cool. If you're a hunter, you love looking at this kind of stuff, and
very unique deer.
Oh yeah, each one of them. Like that one right here, you said, he's got that trash on on his G2 right there.
There's
You know, that one's just
one thing that
pretty,
my daddy would
pretty
tell you.
buck.
He loves turkey hunting, he said, but you're gonna kill a lot of turkeys that look alike, but you'll never kill a buck with the same set of antlers.
Mm-hmm.
What he means by that is you'll never kill a buck. The antlers look anywhere near alike. They all got their own special little, you know, detail to them that you like about them.
Yep.
So, like this deer, you can't see it over here, but it starts off with big mass. I mean, and then it goes to hardly any mass.
Yeah, it's brow tines.
Brow tine, baby,
Yeah,
but I mean,
but
the deer's
just wide.
wide.
Just an elk. I mean, a moose of a deer.
All these deer in here are old though.
That's the thing about South
Old
Carolina deer. Most people don't hunt around here. You know, a big deer in South Carolina is about 110 or better, 110 inch gross or better. And you know, a lot of our deer around here get wider than they do tall, with not a lot of mass. Just kind of the way the cookie crumbles. So a wide deer obviously doesn't score quite as much because it doesn't have the height. But you know, some of these deer in here have the width, the height, and the mass. And none of these deer, I can speak for, none of these deer have been scored. Not any one of them, because his dad frankly just doesn't care about it. And you know, that's honestly probably a good thing. You know, he don't hunt for a score, he don't hunt for a point. He just likes to shoot mature bucks. Likes to watch them rut.
He has hundreds of videos in his phone of him watching deer that me and him would shape and cry for.
4.5-year-old donkey.
Just videoing him like this, well, he'll be a good one next year.
Yep.
These deer would multiply on the deer that we've killed.
That's just kind of a rundown on, you know, of our kind of getting into hunting together, and you know, who we were hunting with as kids, and I told some stories of us hunting together. Nothing crazy, other than the pig sneaking up on us.
Oh, that was pretty crazy.
We've had some coons sneak up on us. Had to pretty much hold him back from shooting one. Any other time I'd have been for it because of their, you know, they raid turkey's nest, but not then. We had turkey gobbling. Had some armadillos sneak up on us, but nothing like a pig. You know, if you've already listened to that story, if you stuck around that long, or this long, I mean, it really is something new. Every time you go turkey hunting, something new happens. You know, that's kind of why we wanting to get in this going to Florida thing. Turkey hunting is for the unknown. You know, he'll be able to go maybe, you know, next year once he's out of school. I just kind of looked in the way the dates fell with being able to go, and once he's out of school, he'll be able to go with us. Like I said, we're gonna kind of start hunting here and there, maybe Mississippi next year and Alabama. That kind of, we're gonna hunt all in the southeast first, and then go our way up north as it goes on. But that's
Got a lot
kind
of
of
work to do before turkey season starts.
Yep, we got a lot of burning to do still.
Predator control.
Been trapping a lot. Got some food. Well, really not food, possibly disking up to do. You know, we've kind of learned. Probably already talked about this in a podcast too, but we've learned that disking up for turkeys really helps them. You know, be able to get in these food plots and or these disced up dirt and bug. You know, find bugs, and obviously helps accelerate new growth for the spring when everything starts germinating and everything. But a lot of work to be done, a lot of scouting to be done. We actually scouted this afternoon. We got home from school and we just went and walked around for, you know, two or 3 hours, just kind of looking for tracks and scratching, not finding much.
Around a little bit on the
Yep,
truck,
found some hens, found a big flock of hens, about 15, 20 hens, no longbeards well, but we you know, signs kind of at a premium right now. They're not really seeing many tracks, much scratching, but they're really not moving around quite yet. They're not really covering much ground. But we are starting to see them in fields, which is not making that itch any better, seeing a couple longbeards in a field by themselves. So
especially stirred it up. I mean,
we've started to see them half struck. My brother Will, he sent me a video. Told you he's out there scouting in upstate. Sent me a video 2 days ago of 8 turkeys in a field by themselves, and they was all longbeards. You could see every one on his beard. And he talking about getting the blood going. I mean, just man, we were just fired up about it, ready to get going. And you're probably seeing this one towards the end of this podcast series for 2024. Maybe not. I don't really know what the schedule one is on releasing this one, but regardless, you know, whether we're a day away or 364 days away, doesn't matter. We're ready to go. We are fired up about it. You get excited for duck hunting, you get excited for deer hunting, but for whatever reason, the day that duck season ends and you start focusing on turkey hunting, your mind is just,
it's too big of a gap. So you
Oh,
got
one-
deer season and duck hunting, you know, they're right there together.
they
so you
interlap.
ain't gotta
Yeah,
wait on nothing. It's
but for ducks to turkeys, it's about a month and a half. So it gives you a month and a half to just think about a gobbling turkey, and it'll make you go crazy. I mean,
fish
it
aren't
will.
biting good or anything.
No.
So I mean, like you can just go fishing.
Still about a month out from good crappie fishing. They're still deep, still really lethargic in the cold water. Redbreast and brim ain't up shallow either, really. They're not in the swamps yet. Speaking of that, y'all gonna have some good ones this summer of good redbreast fishing. We walk the swamps almost every day over
That's
summer.
what I started out everything on whole redbreast fishing.
We'll be fishing almost every in a boat, walking, kayak, sneak boats, john boats, big boats, pontoon boat. It don't matter. We're gonna be fishing a lot this summer. We enjoy fishing.
Hopefully,
We love catching redbreast more than anything, especially because of the Salthatchee River.
we can get y'all a saltwater video because my daddy, I mean, he went from straight up freshwater fishing, like he said, walking in the swamps. That's where I learned how to fish. Walking in the swamps, it'll say what kind of bait, but you know.
You know, I've
Tearing
never.
up them redbreast, and then now he's a giant saltwater fisherman. Done bought him a center console and hopefully
Redfish and sheepheads. I've never really got into it. Never really had the opportunity to go.
hopefully we can
But
get out there and get that experience.
we're gonna be doing a lot of lake fishing this year for brim, which is something we've really never done much of before. Guy, old Bo man, he's ready to go to sleep here. We in his bed right now. He ain't much enjoying it. So we're gonna get this one wrapped up. But yeah, for sure be watching out for some videos for fishing this summer. It ain't just a turkey hunting video channel, but mainly focus on turkey hunting, sure, of course. But there will be some ducks, some deer, and some fishing videos this summer. So hope y'all enjoyed listening. We enjoy talking. Clearly, we have talked about everything from hunting to fishing to walking outside the house. I mean, we talked about everything, including the dog. You know, we threw a dog in there too. So we've talked about it all. So hope y'all enjoyed listening as much as we enjoy talking. It's a lot of fun to sit down and just talk about stuff to each other, and to have people listening and getting to experience our stories is certainly pretty cool. So hope y'all enjoyed, and we'll catch y'all on another.